But welcome to another episode of The Lounge, episode 2. We're going to be dissecting Silent Hill F, which is following up from the first podcast.
Yay!
And we'll have to repeat what we said because I didn't have my recording on.
You realize we should introduce ourselves at the podcast so people remember who we are? Maybe?
I'm
Just
Witchy.
saying. I'm Banshee. Hi.
Done. Easiest introductions ever. We like games.
Do you
and
play
other
video
things.
Games? Well, this is coming from Witchy.
Well,
She's the queen of
𝖳તુ𝖾
Solitaire because it was her first gaming hardcore game.
Yes, Solitaire.
Yeah.
Man, Solitaire should not be scoffed at. When you up the
No, it
level on
shouldn't.
that Solitaire, holy shit. Good luck with
There's a
winning
reason
any
why
game.
they have it at casinos, just saying.
Yeah. I'd lose all those games.
No, you'd be
Which is
fine.
why I'm not a gambler, which is why I would also not have put money on this game that we're going to talk about today. But I did. Which is why I lost. This is why I'm not a gambler. I gambled and I
won the
came out.
gamble.
Yep.
I won the gamble. But
You
yes,
did.
we are back talking about Silent Hill F. So, Witchy did play through the full game. I was there witnessing the gameplay.
The horror, yes.
And you also started the new game plus as well too.
I did indeed.
To see if it was any different, any better.
Yeah, something different. Yeah.
And what did you think? What did you think?
I think what they did with New Game Plus is what they should have done at the start of the game. Yeah. And there's a reason for that. And of course, we should preface that in this podcast, there will be spoilers for the actual game. Blunt opinions. I'm a blunt opinionator. And of course, my opinions are right because they're mine.
Wow. In other words, which is saying, no matter what you can say, you won't convince me that this game is other than vile rubbish.
Exactly. I have a Steam review out there. I have been gifted the clown face 4 times because people found it funny and entertaining, but also thumbs up saying that it was a helpful review. But this is going to be a much longer dissection of that review, but just so you know, I gave it after my first playthrough. Before starting New Game Plus or anything, my initial response is 1.5 out of 5. And I'm usually quite generous with going, yeah, it's a 4, it's at least a 3. So why did I give it a 1.5 out of 5 is the real question. Now, a lot of people are reviewing this going say, a game on its own as is like this. But I think that's the wrong approach because the premise is this is a Silent Hill game with a new perspective, right? And they said it's going to be more action, more combat heavy. So based on the fact that it's meant to be a Silent Hill game, we need to go, okay, what makes a Silent Hill game? Now, I have my 10 things that I think makes a Silent Hill game based on playing Silent Hill 1 to 4. You can tell me if you agree with that, Bench, or if you're like, we also need to add this or not. Yeah.
I will happily.
First of all, I think the monsters in the game are always based on the trauma of the protagonist. Based around that. You also see in some of the games that the monsters are based around the trauma of something else overarching the space. Like in the first one, obviously, it's very much based on Alessa, right? And her trauma. So someone's trauma is guiding the monster creation.
Not only that, it's more of a case of, especially which I find with the first one, it's also the environment it's in as well. We'll even look at Silent Hill 2, Silent Hill 4, 3, I'm not 100% sure, but I know with the original one, look at the little ghost children running around the actual school, the elementary school.
Yeah, so it's also based on the environment you're in the space,
If you go to Brookhaven, you don't see nurses walking around the street, you see them at Brookhaven. So even with Silent Hill 4, when you go in that delightful long spiral room, which you love so much, and you got the 2-headed, baby creatures that was supposed to be based on the 2
orphanage.
2 of the main ones you read the lore about who got mummered. So, it's one of those things that there is some sort of connection between the lore or the story in some way. Whereas I found personally with this Silent Hill that, one, they were very repetitive. Even when watching you play and everyone else play, there was no as you evolve with the storyline, the monsters don't evolve or they don't change. They just kept
Yeah. You
drawing
get
the
to a
same
certain Yeah,
creatures.
exactly. You get to a certain point and then you don't get anything new
Yeah.
based on that. And they also, like you said, they're not locked into the environment that you're in, which is really bizarre. I think there's one time where that is the case, which is when you're doing the scarecrow section, like puzzle in the
That
game,
was that
and you're in the
was that
rice
was
fields.
very well done. That
Yeah,
was
that
very
was
well
well
done.
done.
Mm.
That's actually one of my more favorite parts of the game, where you
Yeah.
actually the creatures represent reflect not just
Mhm.
the environment but also the person experiencing it. So Hinako, schoolgirl, as you walk around in the regular fog town, you can see like all of the scarecrows have
Mm.
like old school uniforms that probably kids grew out of. They didn't know what to do with them. They
That's
use them
it.
on the scarecrows to keep
Secondhand. Yeah.
secondhand stuff, that kind of thing, right? And so then when you
Mm.
get there, it's all based on her friendship group who these now scarecrows are representing, and you get some little stories of in notes of like previous things that other kids have experienced relating to
Mm.
this kind of Inari summer cult as well, right? That kind of like
Mm. Mm.
encapsulates the town. And some of the and all the shrines that you see are related to. That makes
Mm.
sense, and it's great, and it's a great part of the game because you actually hear like the little walking, and it's kind of like red light, green light. One of them's behind you. Where is it gone? So there's kind of like this factor of like it's a schoolyard game too. Like that all plays really well. So whoever in the dev team designs that section of the game, that was really cool. But
Mm.
overall, the game is not consistent like that, and I think that's part of the problem with
Yeah.
the
Well,
creature design.
even with the mannequin ones, so they're actually named the kashimashi. So
Yeah.
kashimashi translates to sort of like boisterous or noisy. So,
Mm.
I guess that plays into the character itself, but it still doesn't. What has mannequins got to do with anything?
I always thought them as less like they kind of get that mannequin style because of their size, but they're like those ball jointed dolls like Barbies is what they made me think of
Yeah,
as well, but
makes
human
sense.
size.
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
But
But
if
yeah,
they're
as it evolved and that, like, look,
yeah.
the end boss was the only thing that was very true to, you know, one of the ending, the original ending. You get there, you fight yourself.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was beautifully done. But everything
Mm.
else, like you go to one room, you see the mannequins. You go to another room, you see the bosom
Yeah.
lady. And then you go, and it's just the same creatures over and over
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
and
And
it just loses its
oh,
flavor.
it does. And after I'm like, oh, this one again. You like if anybody like I'll link down as well, like there'll be links to my actual gameplay of it that I did over here on YouTube. Played them in 3 sessions, but you'll see as I go along how bored I am of the different creatures over
Yeah,
time.
especially
And
when
it's like,
working up
oh,
to the very, very end, it was just so,
mm,
"Are we there yet? Are we
yeah, are
there
we
yet?
done? Oh,
Are we
there's
there
another one.
yet? Oh,
Okay.
look, it's the same room
Yeah.
again. Okay."
But I will say the monster design of the bosses, all except for one, I found really disappointing. But I do feel like the boss fights were some of the
Mm,
more favorite ones of the Silent Hill series, and I thought that
mm,
they were clever, especially with the character Rinko. We eventually fight her as a boss after we've gone and dumped her in the lava during a maze thing where we kind of like
that
get
was
rid of our
great.
friends. Like I thought that was cool that she comes back,
Mm,
mutated by this lava that we put her in. However,
mhm.
what was the point of lava for her? Because with our friend Sakuko, she was afraid of the dark, and we put her in the dark. That was the puzzle when we were getting rid of her as a friend. What was the point of lava for Rinko?
Maybe she thought she was hot stuff. I don't know.
I don't. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm like, she thought she was the shit. Like she was hot stuff. She was the coolest, or she had a
Yeah.
fiery personality. I didn't understand lava for her at all, or if the lava was supposed to be cleansing because we go to drink the water to cleanse before going into the
Mm,
temple with the fox mask,
mm,
and it turned to
mm.
lava. So unless the lava
Yeah.
again for her was supposed to cleanse her of her like
But even so,
green-eyed
like
monster
using
nature,
something yeah,
I
but
didn't
using
get
the
that.
lava in that is very. Look, to have a death by lava is look, as a geologist, I find it very rare to actually happen. Like you have to be pretty damn close.
Mm.
But I don't know if there's some sort of psychological puzzle behind it. I'm not getting it. I'm
Yeah,
not
I
getting
didn't get
any
it.
connection to, like, it was really cool how you got to see her and she got to get dropped in. It was
Yeah.
great. But
And it
then
was
when
satisfying
you
because
look
by then you
back,
kind of
oh, it
hate
was.
Rinko as well. You're like,
She
she's
came
a
across as very
backstabber. She's
snarky.
horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. But it's
Yeah.
just like, then you think of it afterwards, you're like, well, hang on, what's the purpose?
Yeah.
What was the point?
Yeah. I also
Sort of
didn't
thing.
understand if we lead into like the puzzles and the way that they were on. I liked that there was a slight of difficulty in the menu still. I thought we weren't going to get that for the action and the puzzles, but we did. Apparently there's supposed to be an Into the Fog for action as well, but I don't know if that happens after you've played on hard mode because I don't have it after playing on story because it said play the game is story for the traditional Silent Hill experience. And then on hard for action for a traditional Silent Hill experience. Those are false indicators, I will say,
Oh, yes.
because I did not get a traditional Silent Hill experience either way,
But this
based
is
on
the thing.
previous ones.
Well, no, because as we were discussing a little bit before how we're talking about Silent Hill, one of the things that I personally, and you probably would agree with me, that I love doing in Silent Hill is when you have that, you feel you have that moment to just walk around. You can walk around a building, you can walk, everything's dead. Okay, I'm gonna have a look at everything. I want to look at the little details. The game looks beautiful. The game looks
It does.
gorgeous. We're not dissing that at all, but give us that opportunity to actually go look at everything. Look at the tiny little plaques that they have, or if there's like a note, something, or a book. I don't know. Throw in little tiny details on that there to actually make you feel really a part of it. But I just found it was very much just run, fight, run,
and
fight,
no opportunity to really
run.
go, well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to check that out now because that thing is there, because another enemy would pop up in its place, so you never have the chance to really enjoy what they've created.
No.
And
you're very limited with your weapons in that as well too, because they do break over time.
Yeah. So the
You'll be
puzzles,
stingy.
the puzzles in there where you like trying to solve them, I even felt were a poor imitation of Silent Hill puzzles, because first of all, the first time you encounter one, right, is when you're in this dark shrine, which is a replacement for the other world. And you've got a creature that doesn't die following you around everywhere. And when you realize in the end, oh, I just have to find the one that's different, it's kind of like, meh. And that was the case for whatever level difficulty you had. It's just the difference, say, with story mode puzzle is you had like one symbol on it, whereas when you had it with like in the fog mode, it had multiple symbols on it, and you had to find a couple more pieces. And then the actual wording, I was always like questioning, is it because the writer has worded these puzzles in a way and it's now being translated into kind of English? But I'm like, but the developers were always Japanese, writing for an English audience, so that wouldn't make any sense. So it just feels like they dumbed down the whole puzzle experience. And the fact that you can't turn off when it would prompt you to do something. So like a big issue I had, which is why I call it the yellow paint game now, is where you're just walking around. I'm like, oh, clearly I have to go that way to progress the story. Let me go look somewhere else. And so like you turn around to go do something else and it's like, investigate the shrine. 0 of 3 symbols to find. I have no idea there's a shrine, first of all. I have no idea I need to find anything. And then you've told me how much of something to find. Don't tell me. I haven't interacted with shit yet. Yeah, there's no way to turn that off. I would love to see them patch in the ability to turn that off, but I've already played the game, so I already know, right? So if you're going to make an Into the Fog experience, why wouldn't you turn that off for that level of difficulty on puzzles and stuff? It's still there all the way through, the whole hand-holding. It's like they've gone Bloober, for example, with the Silent Hill 2 remake, right? You could turn stuff off. So you could say, turn off the marker and the pointer so I could have a more classic experience. And yet you're selecting sliders to give a classic experience. But they're not doing that at all.
Even the option that I found helpful, because I've done all the achievements but the memos. I'm procrastinating that one so much. But one thing I did find really good was the option like they had where you can have like memos stand out or enemies be one color.
Accessibility stuff.
Option. That sort of thing, because, there are people out there who they want to go through every little nook and cranny of the game. They want to find every little hidden Easter egg if there is one. But even when you have the options at the beginning, like one thing that did upset me a lot, even no matter who I saw play it, was like you're saying before with the beginning of the entry, how it was like
Mhm.
story mode and then, hard.
Mhm.
I wish they kind of gave, like, not to say that people are dumb, but look, I've been playing Silksong and people are complaining that things are hard and whatnot. That's just the game. But have that option where if you are going to make it story, make it just very chill. Have that
Yeah.
option for hard for if you want that true Silent Hill feeling. And then if you want to you play after you finish the original game, then you could go to New Game Plus and have that option of like hard mode. That, I find it's a bit more thing. Same with the puzzles. There's
Yeah.
some people out there who have a disability where they can't do that sort of thing and they don't really give them that opportunity to.
Yeah, there wasn't enough accessibility. Like there
No,
was
no.
one part where I did look in, there was a colorblind mode, but that was it, you know.
Yeah, but
There
that doesn't
weren't
always
in this
help.
day and age, especially after the last game, which I think should have been a standard for the next one, even though it's different developers, they should have
Mm,
taken notes and they didn't take enough notes. And I think it shows
no.
that Neobards, that this is their first big proper game that they've made. They've been like
Yeah.
assistants in the background on a lot of Capcom work, and that
Mm,
also comes through with how they try to do combat.
mm.
Like they worked on stuff like DMC. They worked on some like background work for some of the Resident Evil games and Marvel games from Capcom. But this is their first big game, and it's really obvious. But it feels like they haven't learnt enough from the assisting part of things in the background, or like learnt from Capcom how to do an actual good game, which is
No,
kind of
that's
disappointing.
it. We the capabilities that the game actually can offer and how much you can put into games nowadays that
Yeah.
you to have that ability. Look, as somebody who struggles reading, when they had the thing for look, I can hear perfectly fine, but when they
Yeah,
had the
dyslexia
dyslexic
option.
text,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was fantastic. Honestly, that was so, so good. Just small things of accessibility like that does
A
help
world of
people
difference.
out. It does. It
Yeah,
really, really does.
if they're looking to open up a game and make it more accessible, don't handhold, because then that actually distracts from the experience for everybody. Do
Make
things
sure you
like
turn around and go
this.
to the
Give
shrine. Go to the
options.
shrine.
Yeah, give options. Taking away options makes it less enjoyable, and I
Mm,
think helps to go towards alienating a huge part of the classic fan base of this
mm,
of the Silent Hill experience. Something as well that I think that they ruined is a lot of the actual ambience of the game. Like I think genuinely that I had some audio issues when I first played it, because when I've gone back into New Game Plus off stream, I've been able to hear a bit
yeah.
more nuance in the environment. But I think they weren't heavy enough with the fog at the very start of the game.
No,
It's got
I
foggier as you went
agree.
on, and there was more of that plant life coming from like the other world. But I think they didn't go heavy on the fog because they've taken away your flashlight. You don't have that, which I think is a classic part of the game. You don't have your
Let's not go
radio,
into that. Like that's
and you don't have your
mhm.
stomp, which are three parts that were like my favorite parts of the game. And so they actually take away some of that fear that you have. And instead, your radio is replaced with like a repetitive sound, musical number, which after 6 hours, I just want to shut it off, and there's no way to turn that off. Like I would have loved
No.
to have switched it off. And it's that kind of classic Japanese style sounding music with, I think, like a kind of string instrument and
Kabuki.
voice. Yeah,
Oh,
kabuki.
the koto.
That's really, really high pitched. And
Yeah.
in the end, it's like when a bagpipe first starts and you're like, that sounds horrendous. And then it becomes nice, you know? It's like that
Oh
first
no.
sound on a bagpipe continuously. And like 12 hours of
Yeah.
that is just horrendous. Like, it's
But
just so
that's the
annoying.
thing as well too. When you even when you're saying about like watching you play it, like this is this is a pet peeve. Welcome to
Yeah, pet
Benechi's
peeve.
pet peeve. Okay,
Yes.
so like I mentioned to you about the
Mm.
radio and whatnot.
Hmm.
I like how they're trying to go for a traditional thing, but
Yeah.
they had radios.
Yeah,
She
there were
couldn't
radios
pick
all
up
over the
a
town
radio.
as well.
You could see when we first started the game.
Yeah, they
Why
had the
couldn't there
radio
be
in
one
there,
in
but
the
in a
convenience
different
store?
way. Yeah. I know, that would have
Just
made sense
something.
after Sakako dies, that you go to the convenience store and then you like maybe get some candy, because she made a point of, oh, she always wanted a candy shop. and then pick
Yeah.
up like, oh, there's a radio. Maybe I can contact Shu on this. I think he has a walkie-talkie because you mentioned
Yeah.
when we were talking offline, like maybe if she had a walkie-talkie, which would have made sense for her as a
Exactly.
teenager playing the quote unquote Star something game, which is clearly a
Mhm.
ripoff of Star Wars or whatever.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, game with her friend. That would have made so much sense. That is the kind of
Not standing
storytelling
at the front of
this
the
needed.
store going, "We are closed," to a
Yeah.
mannequin.
Yeah.
Which just, when I saw that scene, I was like,
You see, that is some kind of Resident Evil campy reply, but the game
that's
took
like
itself
something
too
Leon would
seriously.
say.
Yeah, the game took itself too seriously for it to like be like, oh, that's funny. Okay, yeah, let's get into it. You know?
Yeah, no, you
Yeah,
can't.
no.
Especially the period where it was set at. Like it was like, I love that sort of traditional Japanese style, like you do as well, Witchy.
Yeah,
But the way that they did it is they missed a
missed the
lot.
point.
I don't know. They missed a lot of things that they
Yeah,
could have added to it. It was very much a game of shoulda, coulda, woulda.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, if they actually took their time and look, it's not so much if they take their time because the game on its own is visually beautiful.
hmm
My beef is the fact is they called it Silent Hill. It's not
Yeah,
Silent Hill.
it's not Silent
If
Hill.
they called it something else, I don't know, a Japanese name or the character's main name or anything, and made
Mm.
it as like a new beginning, so it can be still part of the Silent Hill lore later on down the track as more games come out. They tie in together somehow, some way.
Yeah,
I don't
within
know,
the
but
world of Silent Hill, like how you have
yeah,
Alan Wake and Control. Control is in the world of Alan Wake, right? But it's its
exactly.
own game, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they didn't make the choice to do that with this. I think Konami kind of sold themselves short in that respect, that they could have branched out. Someone asked me like, "Oh, do you think anybody would have played it if it wasn't Silent Hill?" It's like,
Yes,
yes.
I would have.
There's a
I would
lot
have
of
been like,
other
okay,
horror games that are not Silent Hill. Like, I thought that was the dumbest question someone asked me.
look at
And
Chiller Arts, for example. Look at
yeah,
Chiller Arts. There's so many horror games that,
are not
they're
Silent
horror
Hill
games for a
or
reason
Resident Evil.
that are not
Yeah.
Silent Hill. They don't
Yeah.
have to have the title to make it a good game. I'd
Yeah.
find it more appealing going, okay, this is something that's similarly based. They're going for more of like this sort of fight style or this sort of gameplay. It looks beautiful. Cool, I'll give it a go. But I
Yeah.
find to a degree that with the Silent Hill title on there, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth that,
Yeah.
Konami's just trying
That's
to
yeah.
really milk it, First
Yeah,
Silent Hill,
yes,
13
for
years.
sure. Yeah.
Let's see
It
what
feels
let's
like a
see what this
milking.
Silent Hill 2 went really good. Oh, let's push it. Oh, we're making the new remake. They kind of just put too much in, they ruined it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think as well stuff like taking away Stomp and the fear of knowing, oh, is this monster dead or not? For example, another part where they've handheld you, she'll be like, oh, is it dead? And it just crumbles to dust and you don't get to stomp anything at all.
Oh,
And I'm like, what?
something's
You've taken
fun.
away part of my catharsis in playing this game by being able to stomp. Instead, now you get a very obvious, they go like dark gray and then they have like a swirly spirit in black above them, and you know that, oh, they're going to come back to life. And you realize that after the dark shrine and after you fight this monster, which I call Blobhead, which
Blobby head.
Blobhead is so pyramid head, but and they, which is a whole other story, but like that kind of thing, that hand holding when you're okay, they're coming back to life, I better go do my thing. It takes out the fear of, is it alive, is it dead, is it going to come back, which was part of that ambience of the Silent Hill experience. Like, it doesn't even matter that it's not in Silent Hill itself, because I feel like other Silent Hills have already paved the way for it to be set outside of it, and it's a concept and a construct based on something that someone's going through, some traumatic event. So that's like, that makes sense already. And they've done good in slowly building us up to that. But then coming to how they've like kind of done like a cheapened version of Silent Hill, having little nods to other things, but like making it like basically a bad imitation is the Blobhead and like the fight with them, and the fact that they have
I even said to you,
a pyramid
like,
head
if there
style
is a
sword.
pyramid head, I'm gonna be so mad. And what did
there
we
it
get?
was. And you said
Blobby
if
head.
there was chasing, especially at the start of the game, first thing we do is get chased
Yep.
in the game and get told
But
that
you know
there's a
what?
fog
The
monster, even though we don't know.
Look, those monsters are so stupid at the beginning of the game. It's not even funny. Just give them a table and they don't know what to do. That was fun. That was my only fun part. That was probably the most
Uh,
exciting part, was just running around the table and
yeah,
just
it's
laughing at
actually
them.
pretty easy just to run away from creatures in Silent Hill,
Yeah.
even more so than before, I felt. Um,
Mm.
but I
I should
hated,
make this clear. I should make this clear because I did
yeah,
say I
yeah,
didn't play it. I played an hour and was an hour and 20 minutes of it.
minutes,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
played a little bit
Yeah,
and that
to
was
see
it for
what it
me. I
was
couldn't do
like.
it
Yeah, the
anymore. I
mechanics.
couldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Well, seeing Blobhead before you meet Blobhead, who's clearly a representation of her father because he's shouty and stuff like that, and we find out later on that the father used to be a seafood chef, I think, or a fisherman, in another
Mm,
town before this one. And so the
mm.
arm looks like a octopus, squid tentacle kind of thing that he attacks you with.
Wow.
And he shouts a lot, but then the knife, because they have a scratch on it that is very reminiscent of like the scratches that they had of Pyramid Head walking around the apartments in Silent Hill 2 remake as well. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, clearly this is like they thought that they would do some like little nod. This is the nod that they thought they would do to Silent Hill, and then you have
And that
it turn
posted up
into a
there as
sword.
well. True.
Yeah. But it's supposed to be like his knife that he would use in the kitchen, right? And then because there is the issue of domestic violence throughout the game, that one time he threw it and it hit the tatami mat, and so that's why he has it. But it just turns into a pyramid head looking sword
Yeah.
that's merged with him. And the sad part is going back to the repetition of monsters. You fight him at the start of the game, and
Mm-hmm.
then later on, when you meet the
Mm-hmm.
parents and you finally fight your parents, it's just that creature again instead of evolving into something different. And I'm like,
Well,
oh,
no, that then
well,
they throw the
that's
mother into
disappointing.
it as well too, and
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
what has the mother got to do with it? She was in an arranged marriage to like herself. She was arranged marriage to the father,
yeah.
and it
And
didn't turn out right. But she's
yeah, I
fighting. I don't.
understand. I understand. They thought of putting the mother in there because she said her mother was too complacent and should have fought back, right? And Hinako
Yeah.
doesn't understand why her mother didn't, and how her mother felt trapped and was trying to basically placate all the time because she was also stuck. Hinako doesn't get it, but
Mm,
her anger is always, majority of the time, right? The mother, as a side note, is towards the father. So I had no idea why they would end up going and putting the mother in there in the end. I
mm,
kind of get it, but I wish we had just fought the father. But
mm.
the fact that he was just a creature we had fought before and was a boss was disappointing, because every time you've gone through Silent Hill, you're fighting a new concept when they're a boss. So
Oh
I don't
yeah.
understand why.
Well, look at it. Look at the concept. For example, we're going to use Angela with Abstract Daddy.
Yeah,
Something was
yes.
there. We knew something
Yeah.
was there, but it wasn't just given to us straight away on a platter. You progress through,
Mm. Mm.
and then you see it, and it's like, oh, okay, this
Mm-hmm.
makes sense.
Yeah,
But
yep. The
they
lead up
didn't do
to
that.
it.
It was just, yeah, there was no lead up to it. It was just like, here, have Blobby. Hey, have Blobby head. Oh, look, he's Blobby head again, and
Yeah.
it's just like, what, what?
Mm.
I
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
we've seen him like 10 times, and then there's like a version with drums where eventually, if it
Yep.
starts drumming, it starts manipulating the other mannequins, because I get it represents like the man in the
The,
society
that's
being
it.
loud, and the women, being obedient and stuff.
Dominating.
Dominating. I get all the representation, or like you have
Mm,
the male creatures, well,
mm,
masculine looking creatures who like are supposed to be like lechery kind of grotesque versions, but there's one with chains representing the man's also chained, to his role in
mm,
society and stuff like that. The
mm,
representations are obvious. The design when you first come across them is cool, but then
mm.
again, the repetition, you just end up being bored. Like I got bored with the game really, really fast. And then the
Oh,
combat
I agree.
experience wasn't like, when they said Silent Hill 2 was going to be more combat heavy, I was like, okay, but it was all right. And then with
It
this,
was
I felt
nice.
like it was dumb. People were saying, "Oh, it's bad because Hinako's a schoolgirl, and so
That's
like
got
she
nothing to
can't."
do with
But
it.
I'm like, then
How?
why does she have a perfect dodge ability? Why does she have a perfect attack stun? Why is her stamina run out so quickly when she's supposed to be a track queen? Right? She's probably going to get a scholarship. She's in the sports it's called like the sports club. She's supposed to be really, really fast, yet she struggles with running and is always puffed out. That's completely counter
And
to
not
her
not
being
only
a
that,
schoolgirl.
even with a pipe, for example, and leave a comment, okay? Leave a comment.
Mm,
Has there anybody you've ever met,
mhm.
okay, who's struggled to pick up a pipe, like in Silent Hill, and swing it. Okay?
I would love to know.
It,
Go
when
out
you
there, swing a
when
pipe, let
you
us know.
yeah, it honestly when between first watching it being swung, it looked heavy. Then I actually
Mm.
did it and I was like, why is this so hard? Like, I know
Yeah,
you have
why?
your normal attack and your heavy attack, but even just the normal attack was like she's picking up a pyramid head sword and swinging it around. It felt heavy. I'm like, it
Mm.
can't be that heavy.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was I thought the reasons that people had for why the combat was feeling bad are just the
Mm,
reasons why it shouldn't also be the combat shouldn't be designed this way for this
no,
character in this
no.
situation.
You and I do play a lot of horror games. It's just it didn't feel. Do I want
Like
to
the
say
experience.
finished? No, finished
Yeah,
isn't
no,
the
it
right
felt
word.
I always say I call it half cooked. So,
Yeah.
like even towards the end you end up getting the whole repetition of monsters and you get like a
Oh, the room.
roguelite
Oh,
experience where you go through 4 different stages after you think you've finished the game and you get locked into you have to kill this enemy
yep,
combat, right?
yep.
And you go through a maze where you do that several times and then you go into the fog world and then you do the same thing and then you go back to the
Hmm.
dark shrine and then you do the same thing. Like, why am I doing
I
that
have to say
4
the
times
forest
in a
was
row?
nice though.
The
The
forest?
forest was nice.
What forest?
When you're walking, you know, when you're walking through like the where you saw the traditional houses and you walk through that forest part, like the woodlands.
Oh, down towards Shu's house.
Yeah, yeah, that was nice. That
No,
was
that part, you know
nice.
what? That part wasn't nice because I just ran through it because there were too many enemies all at once that I couldn't enjoy it. And I wanted to just sit there and be like, oh, this is so creepy. This kind of reminds me of when I was walking into
You hear
Silent Hill
things in
through
the
the forest,
background that
you know,
aren't going to
and then
actually
like,
attack you.
yeah, and then you hear like the branches breaking, like, oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that? Or even if you saw flittering of like enemies, like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, like that'd be
Yeah.
sick. But they're just like, "Blah, blah, 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 blah," and I'm like, oh my God, settle down, bud. Okay, let me just pass on through.
Run!
That was
Run,
literally it.
Forrest, run!
And
But no,
that is a nice area. I just wish I had been able to experience it more.
yeah.
You
Well,
can
let's
experience it a bit at
excluding.
the shrine area where they've got a bit of that, and you do hear some branches breaking, and then there's a little bit of a nice underpinning, scary soundtrack there that I thought was really good. You know, Akira's put his stamp on that part, and it's very obvious
Oh
when
yes.
Akira has made the music for a section or not, because it was
Mm-hmm,
either good or
mm-hmm.
not good.
No, exactly, exactly. So Akira Yamaoka, again, you
Mm,
pulled it off, my man. We love you
yeah,
still. Don't ever
yeah.
leave Silent Hill
No, please
Konami
don't.
franchise.
Otherwise, I can't play another game ever.
No.
No.
Yeah. We're having another discussion as well too with
Hmm.
the endings. So the
Yeah.
endings were look, I get the endings. Okay, so
Kawaii
to explain,
anime. There were a couple endings that felt like that.
yeah, I get the ending. So
Yeah.
the original ending was so spoiler alert coming up. So
Yeah. More
the whole
spoilers.
point is you are a 20-year-old
Yeah,
person
that's the
in an
big
arranged
mystery
marriage.
in this. When everybody's walking through,
Oh,
going, "What's really happening? I don't understand. What's going on? Who is
yeah,
Hinako really? Why is she getting rid of her
she's
friends? Blah blah
actually
blah." She's actually getting married.
she's
And
actually getting married.
the thing is, in her journal, if you read her journal, you'll get all the information. She was sold by her
Exactly.
father to pay off his
Exactly.
debts to this family. That's what happened, and she started going along with it, and you're basically in her internal mindscape battling her inner self, which is why the
Mm-hmm.
last boss of fighting herself is cool. There's also a cool point where you do a time loop. You come
Oh,
out seeing as
running
Hinako
past.
and then
Yep.
coming back as herself as the bride was sick. I thought that was a cool time loop. That's the only loop that should have happened, not the other combat loops. But
Oh,
that
tell me
was
about
that
it.
was cool. But knowing that one, you could only get that ending for everyone the first time, I think was a really poor decision. Part of the fun is going, oh my God, what ending did you get? I got the bad ending. Oh, I got this ending. Oh, let's
Yeah,
play it again to find out. But
that's
they
it.
didn't do that.
No, no.
No.
And a lot of people are asking as well too. So to clear it up
Mm.
is so a lot of people are asking, why is the sister in an owl mask and we're in a fox mask.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
to clear it up is the point is her sister was married to somebody else. She's fine,
Yeah.
she's happy. Hence why she's got the owl mask. So she's a
Yeah.
part of another family.
Yeah.
Hinako is being married to, we'll say, the fox family. So
Yeah.
hence why the whole theme is around a fox.
Fox.
So
Yeah.
that's why if people are out there like, well, what's the two different masks? Are they a representation of, you know, is it to show
Something
it's a sister
yeah.
or whatnot? No, it's the representation
Different
of
families.
the families. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
just to clear that up.
yeah, and slowly becoming part of that, losing they each lost their identity. They became whatever the husband and his family represented rather than themselves.
That's it.
Yeah, like she gets, I know she gets the fox arm. So I thought the fox arm personally was made it too video gamey. But and everybody always thought it was kind of silly. But I understand she gets the fox arms to become kind of like his, you know, there's kind of this concept where like
right hand lady.
You're the right hand, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yep.
And so that makes sense. Or like, you know, putting on the fox mask because now she can only see things and respond to things his way. And as you notice, the women who are older than her have a complete mask, so that even they can't speak for themselves. They speak what their husband speaks. Which makes sense in the branding. Well, that's pretty obvious. Like that's a cattle.
No. But even like, for example, we were very much looking forward to the UFO ending. So the UFO ending in Silent Hills have always been top notch. Like they've been fantastic.
Brilliant. Yeah.
But we end up watching the UFO ending, and I tell you what, it was
that made us rage the most.
Disappointing, useless.
I wish I didn't know about it. And it went on too long.
The alien UFO for 2 seconds. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, throw in another character. Oh, sorry, no. They threw the dog in the UFO for 2 seconds. That was about it.
Yeah.
The rest was them complaining about telling secrets of stealing underwear and other stuff.
And turning Shu into a perv for some reason.
Yeah, it's just very, very manga uwu, you know.
Yeah.
Style. And it was just like very disappointing. And then they turned around and they're like, oh no, the government, they fought off the aliens. And it's like, oh, not even a big mecha coming out, nothing like that, you know, even Alien style or Gundam style. No, nothing.
No. And even the two people who had the alien game that they were playing didn't do anything like that. They didn't turn into aliens. They didn't become like, they didn't get lasers and start fighting it. Like literally they had this whole story around Shu and Hinako and their game, and nothing happened related to that. You don't even find like a little laser gun in Silent Hill or something where she goes, pew, pew, oh, I thought I could have used this as a weapon. I guess that's only for gameplay. Like nothing happened. They put such emphasis on it.
It's just crazy. It was just disappointing.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was just disappointing. Overall, look, we both tried it, which physically, me visually. And it was just, it's not what the hype was going to be. And again, if you Richie's just very, she's had a lot of frustration built up over it because she's had to play through it. Me, I've been sitting back saying I saved $140.
Even watching other people play it, and then people that I know are going to probably enjoy it more than me because they're like silly kind of janky ridiculous games. Even they're like, why is it backseating me? Why is this enemy here again? Oh, it was fun. I'm now kind of getting tired of this. I'm like, oh, they're getting up to the point. And I was speaking to someone, they're like, yeah, you love the game for the first so-and-so hours. And then you hit at this point, like, and you're like, I'm done. I think I was done when it was
6 hours in.
6 hours in, I was done, but I kept going. But I did enjoy the school and the puzzles in there. I enjoyed. That was
actually the fruit puzzle was actually kind of cool. I'll give him that.
The fruit puzzle. That was. I didn't actually enjoy that puzzle. Like I liked going around finding the stuff in the environment of the school. I felt all the puzzles were kind of still a bit dumbed down, or like they were too convoluted that it didn't make any sense. And you were just like, what? How does that do this? You know, sometimes you get that with them, like with Silent Hill, and you're like, oh, and you're sitting there and you really want to make notes, but you don't even get to make notes anymore yourself. No. The journal just tells you.
I just love the fact, especially when you're doing the fruit puzzle. This was the kicker. This was the hardest part of the puzzle. If
Yeah.
you're playing on controller, you had to actually press A to confirm.
That was crazy. And you play that one, and
True.
when you're in the fog, guess what? It's the same answers,
Same thing.
just
Same
more
thing.
words that didn't make any sense.
It's just
I
stupid.
did like when you were in the dark shrine area, but you were in like her house, and you had to find the calendars,
Yeah.
and then you just went through different sections and different periods in time, and you kind of got
Yeah.
more of an understanding of that things were evolving. I liked that. That was a really cool section of the game, and like I said, the scarecrow part. I think those three
That was
were
Scarecrow was
my most
great.
they were my favorite. I didn't enjoy the Dark Shrine stuff, which is supposed to be the other world. And usually I love going into the other world in a Silent Hill game, but I felt like there was no degradation of the Dark Shrine. So you saw
No.
that in the Fog World, things getting worse, and that normally happens anyway. But I didn't
Mm.
see anything like that becoming scarier, except for locked in combat was the scary part. Like scary as in like I'm going to lose my own mind by the end of this game.
Maybe that
That's
was the
all.
point. Maybe that
Maybe.
think about it this way. Maybe that was the whole point of the game.
Maybe it was.
Maybe that was the psychological part of the game
That it
that
made you
Konami
literally
would break
insane.
you.
Mm,
Yeah.
that makes
You know?
sense.
Okay, that
Mm,
makes sense.
yeah.
But
I
yeah,
will.
overall,
Yeah. Overall, no.
I give it a 2. I give it a
Yeah.
2 out of 5.
If
I'm gonna
I'm
be
being
nice, but
if I'm being generous, no,
1.5.
if I'm being generous, I would give it a 2.5. But that's if you
Oh.
play through the game a second time and you get what you should have got in the first run, with the hints and the little side stories and puzzles and stuff, and the possibility of getting multiple endings. But to have to
Mm.
play a game twice when it's costing over 100 AUD, I don't think the game's worth it. Like, I love that they were bringing another like female protagonist, but I felt like we'd already seen a repeat of whatever this was, just a Japanese version of like you're being married off kind of thing in the 60s, that we experienced with Heather, and I wanted a new story, something else, because she's also just a person, you know, and what fears would she have as an individual person would have been nice, rather than necessarily more a woman fearing trope kind of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like they could have done so much more, but as it is, they
I
should
think
have
they've done
just,
a lot more.
yeah, very undercooked. But if I'm being generous, 2.5 out of 5. If I'm giving my real honest opinion and not caring, 1.5. And I think I said this on Steam, 0.5 for the boss battles because they weren't that often. 1 was
Mhm.
for like the environment design.
Yep.
And
Yep.
that's it. The
No,
environment
the reason
design.
why I gave it, I chose to give it a 2 was one whole point for Akira Yamaoka. You deserve that
Oh
1
yeah,
point.
oh yeah. I should. You know what?
Yep.
I'll give an extra. I give it an extra half
2
from me
point.
then for
Yeah,
Akira, because
give it.
he
No, give him
wasn't
the
the full. No, he wasn't the full audio designer for this game, and it's very
no,
obvious when
no.
he
That's what I say.
wasn't didn't have a
He will
hand in
still get
there.
my 1 point.
Yeah.
But my other point would be, look, the game did look beautiful. It
Mm,
did look beautiful,
mm.
but it just the way she walked and moved, the way that the
Yeah.
combat was
There
holding a
wasn't even
pipe.
a side reference to Silent Hill. Like
No,
it
they
would
could
have
have
been
put a
lovely if the,
poster in her room or something in the house.
yeah.
I don't know,
This is
something.
post World War II Japan, so there is definitely a large American influence that's starting to take hold in Japan as well after that point. So why couldn't there have been like just a little note like, oh, this girl that left town, right, went
hmm
to America and she married someone in Silent Hill. They came back to visit, but her parents shunned her because she was too westernized now or something. Some comment like that, you know,
That's it.
which can happen
That's it.
when someone moves away and they sort of start transforming into a different culture. Not just a Japanese experience, but like it could have been a note like that to show someone else rebelled and they were like rejected. That would have fed
hmm
into the theme as well. Like, it's that easy.
No, that's it. That's it. But
Mm.
please leave us a comment down
Yeah,
below.
let us
What
know
did
what
you
you
think of
think.
Silent Hill? Did you
Mm.
enjoy it? Did you love it? Did you ask for a refund? Were you not a fan? Please let us
Did you
know.
rage
But
quit or did you persevere like I did?
or were you smart like me and didn't spend a cent and watched your friends suffer?
Yeah.
But thank you again, everybody, for joining us for another one of the Lounge podcast there. Please remember to like and subscribe to both of our channels down below there.
Yes, all the links there.
Yes. But until then, we're going to bring you a much better game next time. Yay! Bye!
Bye! Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum. Down, down. Ba-da-da-da-da-dum. Ba-da-da-dum, down.
I know. Ice, ice, baby.
No, don't get that song stuck in my head. Ice, ice. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, we're doing the podcast as
doing
promised.
podcast. Yes.